Hello to all my lovely viewers. Whether this is your first time coming to observe, or whether you are a dedicated watcher or listener, or whatever type of entity you may be, all are welcome here. As for where here is, welcome to Season 8 of Titancraft. Specifically, welcome to the starter base of the Cave Crew, which I feel has a lovely ambience for starting off my video. Cave Crew made a lovely starter cabin, and that is those beautiful windows, that arch, beautiful soft jungle wood. It's a shame I had nothing to do with actually building this. It was already built 2 hours in when I woke from my slumber and joined this world, since it always seems to take me a little bit longer to wake up than everyone else at the start of a new world of Titancraft. And this is unfortunately a side effect of the fact that my time never quite lines up properly with Titancraft. Now, spawn was off that way. It's not really rendered in, very much not rendered in, given that we are, in fact, over 3,000 blocks away from spawn, and the first 2,500 of those blocks were open ocean. I'm uncertain as to exactly how much ocean there is in the other directions around our spawn island, but there was a solid ocean between spawn and here, which made it very inconvenient to get back after I'd made landfall and had been just crossing through a river when I ran across a trident drowned and got sent all the way back to spawn, minus my starting boat. Thankfully, though, I was given a boat by another player and was able to make it back out to where I had left my stuff and recovered the sacred starting cookie. I managed to die another 2 times, so it's the 3rd day in Titancraft and I have had as many deaths, and this season is not looking to be the immortal Aurora with an order of magnitude less deaths than the people around her. It is instead looking like if I were to make a vigil this season, most of the candles on it would be mine. Since if the pattern I'm currently seeing continues, I'm looking at about a death per day. And I don't like that. I intend, however, to break that pattern, but I'm still already a quarter of the deaths up to what I had last season, at the end of the season. And I am not so arrogant as to imagine that I will not accrue more. Kalendor was successful in getting a Fortune 3 pick. And all 3 of my deaths so far, I've been carrying my starting cookie because I hadn't adequately built up my starter base in time and didn't think to put it away. Correction, sorry, I have died 4 times. I forgot about one of them. This does not change the fact that I was carrying my starting cookie on all of the incidents. There was the first death over that way with a trident drowned, as I had mentioned. And there was another death in the cave that the Cave Crew has conquered. Our initial path to finding it was down through both that tunnel, and I believe there was a 3rd tunnel, and all of them came out into different caves that we then discovered were in fact the same cave system. So yes, my 2nd death was down in the cave. My 3rd death was attempting to create our nether tunnel, and got shot by skeletons in the Soul Sand Valley that our portal came out into. And then the 4th death was over in the resource world, having found multiple diamonds, having a lovely collection of stuff in my inventory, and underestimating the power of a zombie with a sword, and mistiming some of my dodges. And then, as I attempted to run away, getting shot again. But yes, this is the lovely, lovely cave we were lucky enough to find under the same set of coordinates that we'd used last season to find our 11 ravines. Sorry, 13 ravines, because apparently there were two I had forgotten about. And you see this particular setup that happens to line up with a waterlogged slab down at the bottom? That was not there on the first day. And more than a few of us died to falling down into this ledge trying to get to the mushroom cow that had been left here. And so I left a small puddle of items about here. And and as you can sort of see, hello, Calendor. It seems that my tour of the place will be interrupted by talking with fellow members of Cave Crew and getting properly greeted. And yes, there is no shortage of cave, and many people have made some lovely bases in here. For instance, this area. The Brooding Mule. A lovely tavern and brewing station area. And just a lovely communal area with a starter base up in the tower above the inn. And plenty of tunnels and paths that have been dug and decorated into the cave. Expanding it out so that even places like down here still feel like they are part of the same wide open area as our 3-level cave. Though in fact this is actually a 4-level cave. The 4th level simply does not properly come out into the main cave. And those stairs will take you back up to where our starting hut was. And I, much like the others in Cave Crew, have made a starter base. Specifically, I have made that starter base. We have here my little cave in a cave. I believe I had been initially intending for this to be the bright shiny copper, but there are no bees, and I'm not willing to put in the effort to strip it back when the blue still works. And so yes, my cute little starter base. Storage, more storage, a crafting bench, a window from which to observe the goings-on in the cave below, and the beautiful progress that's been made over there with the wall and the colored discs, and the tree growing in the middle of our underground, and a bed. And those are all the things that a starter base actually needs. However, while I feel like this is a lovely triumph in my ability to go outside my usual build style and make a lovely dwarvish-themed cave sort of base, I feel like it's lacking some element of coziness. And so I am looking forward to being able to finally take all of my stuff over to the forest that I'm actually setting up in as my main build this season. In fact, let's do that right now.
Well, really, Spring, you should have known better than to abandon a cave that you've already died in once. That's practically an invitation for me to come back. Show up. Take over the abandoned build that you left behind. Foolish, foolish springtime. After all, you've claimed this as L'Aurora's cave in a cave. but it's not stealing your base. If I'm also L'Aurora. Could use a little more decoration in here. It's a shame I can't put in any Wither Rose flower pots yet, the end not being open and all. But we can still decorate in here. Yes, we can. Yes, I might not be able to put in my Wither Rose flower pots. We can still create some lovely ambience in here. Warm it on up. A little reading area. And surely someone in this cave has flint and steel I can borrow, as we say. No, Slime, I am not going to deal with you. How dare you interrupt my rebuilding of my cave to be a much more fitting place for me to relax. Who cares about what Spring had in mind for the design aesthetics? I am in control here. And I say, this would be a lovely fireplace. Ah, nice and warm. No. Nice and warm. There doesn't look like all that many other spots where I can comfortably put in little soul sand braziers. After all, putting them in there risks setting the books alight. And we wouldn't want that. I just put those in to decorate. So, I think that's enough of a fixer-upper in here. Doesn't it look so much better with the blue flames? Poor foolish Spring, unwilling to venture into the nether. I wonder what she's doing right now.
And here we are. My dark oak forest, out an absurdly large distance from spawn, and far too close to the world border. It seems that this is the season where I will have a long commute to the shopping district. Now, I'm planning on doing everything above ground to be my beautiful fairy wood, but down here in the shallow underground, I feel no guilt about putting in a far more industrial chest monster. This is by no means my final storage bunker, but it's good enough to be able to start moving things over here. And actually digging out my final storage bunker can probably wait until after I have actually decent tools. And my first priority is to properly establish my claim. I've already put in claim pillars, so as far as it would be recognized by the court of the server, I have claim here. But I would like it if there is no ambiguity as to where the edge of my domain is, and if no mobs could wander in from outside my domain. I know that it is more traditional for a fairy claim to be only mildly marked, so that you get to torment the poor intruders foolish enough to venture into your woods. But the extra flex value of tormenting all of the poor mobs and mortals foolish enough to wander into your domain is not worth the creeper holes in my landscaping when I finally get to the point of re-terraining my dark oak forest. So, step 1. Have a lighted perimeter where nothing can get in that wasn't invited. And besides, a beautiful stone wall is a perfect accent for a fairy wood. if you can't wait long, or if you can't afford to wait the 100 years to properly moss over your stone into mossy cobblestone, handmade is fine. I'm not going to simply build a boring European castle wall. That would not be adequately fairy. Instead, a seemingly random haphazard assortment of broken stones and overgrown leaves, save for the fact that at no point will it be possible to pathfind through the wall or over the wall except at specific entrance gates, or over here at the ocean. Since I don't think I need to wall off the ocean just yet. And, well, the cliff is steep enough at the ocean's edge most of the time, and the drowned that would be coming up out of the waves do not put holes in my landscaping, and so do not need to be as thoroughly precluded as the uninvited guests in green. I will also remove the obnoxious deep slate claim pillars as I establish my perimeter, since the deep slate is not going to be fitting my aesthetic at all. And so yes, something like this. Broken, haphazard stone pillars alongside leaves, combining through seeming chance to create an impassable barrier. Were it not for the fact that it would make it easier to breach up the wall, actually, I can put that there without it compromising my security. And not every one of my sections of short wall has to be capped in leaves. A simple half slab is enough to stop anything from getting across my wall at that location. Still, I do wish to carry on across my idea here of the overgrown with leaves variant. Since, of course, the leaves might not generate like this ever naturally, but it's not a fairy wood without a little bit of unnatural forest. I would have tried to pretend that this was a natural continuation of the previous scene, but as you can see, I've got Hero of the Village over in the corner. After my pickaxe broke, I decided it was time to properly upgrade my gear. So with thanks to Eustace, who is amazing and built us a raid farm, and gave me several stacks of emeralds, and gave me more than a stack of emerald blocks when I mentioned that I was going to be trading with villagers to try to improve my gear situation, I now have a full set of armor. And yes, I am keeping a gold helmet this season. Means I don't get shot at by piglins, and it looks amazing. And for those of you who have watched any of my episodes before, it's probably not a surprise that I'm making impractical survival decisions for the aesthetic. I've already accepted that this is not a hardcore world, and I'm willing to suffer through having a bit less armor for a crown this shiny. I am, however, not quite as bold as our glorious leader Sparked Soul, who curse of bindinged her fully enchanted gold helmet. Kudos to you, Sparked. That's impressive. Yeah. And I think this is where I will end this episode, with a base to call my own, with plans to go forward, and with good gear that I will carry forward probably for the rest of the season, barring it getting lost. All in all, a very good haul for not even a full week into the server.